On March 10th, candidate Yoon Suk-yeol of People's Power Party was elected as South Korea's 20th president, claiming 48.56% of overall vote. President-elect Yoon will start his 5-year tenure starting from May 10th. In this article, Cha&Kwon Law Offices will organize President-elect Yoon's pledges related to virtual asset industry. It is expected that Yoon will take strict measures on illegal practices while encouraging the development of virtual asset industry. Ohoon Kwon, partner at Cha&Kwon Law Offices, will provide detailed explanation on President-elect Yoon's pledges related to virtual asset industry.
Hi, I'm Ohoon Kwon, partner at Cha&Kwon Law Offices.
What pledges should individual investors consider?
To ensure the protection of individual investors, President-elect Yoon pledged to enact the Framework Act of Virtual Asset Industry, of which the regulation to confiscate profits gained from unfair virtual asset bargains is gaining attention. As the number of illegal pyramid selling fraud cases is increasing, this regulation is expected to eradicate such illegal practices and protect the rights of individual investors. Moreover, in order to prevent and relieve the damages from systemic errors and hackings, Yoon announced that he will expand the introduction of relevant insurance system. Yoon also plans to exempt taxation on coin profits up to 50 million Korean won. At the People's Power Party press conference held on January 19, 2022, President-elect Yoon announced to ensure that young people also invest in the new market without fear, developing a safe investing environment similar to that of stock market is necessary, and strict measures will be taken for practices that disturb the market system. Yoon announced to raise the basic deduction on transfer income made from coins to 50 million Korean won like stocks. Yoon also announced his renovation first, taxation afterward policy, stating that taxation commencement dates should be on hold and establishing the transaction infrastructures and regulations on the virtual asset industry should come first. Hence, he suggested additional delay on the starting date of virtual asset profit taxation, which is already postponed to January 2023 as of now.
What pledges should virtual asset business operators should consider?
With the virtual asset industry already active, President-elect Yoon have announced that instead of suppressing the market, clear transaction regulations should be made to enable safe practices. He aims to construct relevant infrastructures by establishing Digital Industry Development Administration and introducing virtual asset specialized banks, and also aims to promote the digital asset industry by allowing domestic ICOs and vitalizing NFTs.
Establishment of Digital Industry Development Administration.
Because the Financial Service Commission is currently in charge of managing the virtual asset industry, virtual asset businesses are raising complaints that there is a lack of proposals for revitalizing the digital industry. Yoon have announced that the government must establish cooperation system between the relevant institutions and quickly develop the groundworks of the new digital virtual asset industry. In order to promote and regulate the virtual asset industry on a separate level, Yoon has pledged to establish Digital Industry Development Administration.
Could you explain about the introduction of virtual asset specialized banks?
Currently, exchanges must have real name verification accounts issued from local banks to receive Korean won exchange authorization. However, because the FSC holds banks accountable for any money laundering cases that might occur, banks are being reluctant to issue exchanges real name verification accounts. Hence, the current Korean won market is mainly operated by the top 4 exchanges, which are Upbit, Bithumb, Coinwon, and Corbit, that managed to have real name verification accounts issued from the banks. Now, President-elect Yoon pointed out that if exchanges fail to pass Korean won exchange examination, they do not receive any second chances, and suggested introducing virtual asset specialized banks. If actualized, this pledge will prevent oligopoly of the market by increasing the number of Korean won exchanges, and will diversify the Korean transaction market. However, because amendments need to be made on the Act on Reporting and Using Specified Financial Transaction Information, to provide legal grounds on this pledge, we would keep an eye on its progress.
Could you also explain Yoon's pledges on allowing domestic ICOs?
President-elect Yoon made an announcement that starting with IEOs, he will introduce ICOs in stages. In 2017, the FSC have prohibited all forms of ICOs for the reason that the virtual asset publication authorities could take unfair advantage in the process. Concerned that damages may occur for investors if ICOs is fully introduced, Yoon has pledged to allow IEOs for the time being. Unlike ICOs, a direct investing method by transferring Ethereum directly to a cryptocurrency project, IEOs allows investors to invest in cryptocurrency projects indirectly through exchanges. Compared to ICOs that carry the risk of personal information leakage and information asymmetry, investors are relevantly safer in IEOs because exchanges are responsible for the process. Yoon may allow IEOs for some registered VASPs that satisfy certain requirements. However, unlike IPOs, where the hosts and the exchanges are separated, exchanges monopolize most of the rights and information in IEOs. This increases the possibilities for problems such as information asymmetry, conflict of interest, or monopoly oligopoly. For IEOs to take place, a separate independent institution specialized in assisting the listing process should be made, and exchanges should only be responsible for listing examination and mediation.
How would President-elect Yoon promote the digital virtual asset industry by vitalizing NFTs?
President-elect Yoon promised to support the technical developments and make preemptive institutional renovations in preparation for the appearance of diverse forms of new digital assets. At least for the digital asset industry, Yoon emphasized that he will switch to negative regulation system so that the public will be free from regulations when displaying their creativity and competence. It is expected that Yoon will provide institutional groundworks by including NFTs under the scope of digital assets under the Act on Virtual Asset Industry. While only the business that were allowed could operate under the current positive regulations, switching to negative regulations by allowing all businesses except for the ones prohibited by law can grow the digital asset industry to another level. From the announced pledges so far, President-elect Yoon seems to provide investor and business-oriented policies and improvements more focused on promoting the virtual asset industry. However, some pledges may face obstacles to be actualized. Amendments are required or must receive the Assembly's approval. Thus, a close interest should be maintained on the process of pledge fulfillment, and appropriate responses are needed. If you have any questions on today's issue, please feel free to contact Cha&Kwon Law Offices. Thank you.